Hello, everyone. We know that we are your, the thing that stands between you and lunch and rosé. And also, I was telling Kristin this morning that I have been bringing rain wherever I've been, and I've been traveling quite a while for the past year. I brought rain to Dubai, I brought rain to Los Angeles, and I would have been surprised that I not brought rain to Cannes. So don't blame it on climate change, but just blame it on me. I am Valentina Culatti, and I am the Director for Creative Strategy at Snapchat, and I'm delighted to be here in the wind with Kristin. So, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Come on in, sit down, join us under cover of these nice umbrellas here. It's great to be here at Cannes. This is my first time at Cannes, believe it or not. But I am VP of Marketing at PepsiCo Foods North America. I am a longtime consumer packaged goods marketer, and I've worked across a number of categories: center store, perimeter, refrigerated, and done a little bit of private equity, big company, small company, just a little bit of everything.
Okay, so you had an impressive career in CPG. So tell us a bit about your journey and what brought you here.
Yeah, I think it's been longer than I care to admit, but I'm happy to still be here. And I think, the first thing that I think has characterized my career is curiosity. So I'm the kind of person who always asks why, and that has led to a number of different kinds of experiences. As I mentioned before in my introduction, I started my career in the tech industry, and at the time, the tech industry was pretty young, booming, starting to really kind of feel its own. And I'd always ask the tech developers, well, that's great technology, but how does your customer use the technology? How does it benefit them? And they'd say, I have no idea, but isn't it cool? It's cutting edge technology. I'm like, yeah, but what's the use case for it? And I realized at that point that was a trigger for me to switch industries into consumer packaged goods. So my curiosity about the consumer led me into consumer packaged goods, where I started my postgraduate career. I also had a curiosity about learning of other industries. So I ended up in private equity for a bit, which was a fantastic experience. Fast moving, learn by doing, roll up your sleeves, just get it done. So that was a critical experience for me. And then, I've also had some commercial roles along the way. So curiosity led me to sitting across from buyers. And there's nothing better than selling to a Target or a Walmart or one of the big commercial retailers for you to strengthen yourself as a marketer, because you realize that what we think about and what we immerse ourselves in as marketers, this deep strategy and creativity, is really important to the consumer. Customer doesn't care so much. They want to know you're going to drive category growth and that, you've got the right brand at the right price, and okay, it's a little bit more transactional.
Absolutely. And so, my aspect might give you a different impression, but not in my time anymore. It's been my 10th Cannes. So no matter the long career, Kristin, you are here as
yes.
in this amazing journey that you just described to us.
Yeah.
Did you have any female mentor?
Yeah.
I didn't find any. I found more peers afterwards.
Yeah. And
if not, like in my case, is there any female leader in marketing that you look up to?
Yeah, I think, I've been fortunate because I started my career with PepsiCo, left PepsiCo. I'm a boomerang employee, but when I first came out of business school, I remember thinking at the time, because I went from the tech industry to PepsiCo, and at PepsiCo, I was like, I don't feel like a woman at work. Right. And that was profound, because PepsiCo is the kind of environment where, 39% of our top executive leaders are women. We've got room to go, but that's still a pretty good percentage. And, in contrast to The meat industry, where it was dominated by men, I felt very much like a woman in the workforce. So the mentors that and mentorship relationships that I developed really stem from my early days at PepsiCo. So there's a woman by the name of Ellen Tafe. She's actually a women's leadership faculty member at Northwestern Kellogg School of Management. She was one of my first bosses, and what I learned from her, she's an introvert. So in a marketing organization, being an introvert, yes, is not typical. So I learned from her that you could be extremely effective as an introvert if you adopt your strategy or your communication style. You flex it in the moments when it's mattered, but then work around the big meeting forums. You have one-on-one conversations with others. The other thing that was really impressive about her is she lifted the other women up. Right, so she actually came from a sales background, so she was, at that point of time in the industry, she was one of very few women who sold to our customers. So she recognized that, her journey was difficult. She didn't want other women's journeys to be difficult. So she dropped the ladder down. She didn't pull the ladder up. She dropped the ladder down and helped women, move up through the organization. Yes, exactly. I've also been very fortunate to have, because mentor relationships can come, they can be reverse mentor relationships. They can be peer relationships. I had a couple of peer relationships also at PepsiCo. Was going through a particularly challenging time on Tropicana. I inherited, for those who were around at that time in the industry, I inherited the packaging disaster. So I had to clean up the failed Tropicana packaging. And it was highly politically charged in the PepsiCo organization at the time. And I had peers who said, okay, Kristin, we're behind you. Here's how we would approach this. Here's a mentor that I have that I want to introduce you to. So it was a community of women who kind of banded together and rallied around me and the business challenge. And we navigated through it incredibly successfully. So, yeah.
It's so fantastic to have allies.
Absolutely.
Allies.
Yes.
So you mentioned one of the challenges that you have to face, like the Tropicana packaging.
Yeah.
But at the moment, what is the main challenge that you're facing?
I think there are a lot of common challenges that we're all facing. I think the one that is most top of mind for me is I have a portfolio of brands that have existed in the world for decades. Tostitos tortilla chips, Fritos, corn chips, Smart Food, Roll Gold. And these are wonderful brands. They're established brands, they're household names, but they're also brands that weren't designed for Gen Z or young consumers. So the challenge I find is, how do we stay true to the brand roots, but also design our communications with Gen Z in mind? And what would be the kiss of death is forcing the brands into consumer culture where we aren't already existing. So what we do is we search and we find kind of nuggets of consumer behavior, consumer truths where the brands do show up in culture, and then we pivot off of those and build off of those. So for Fritos, for example, Fritos is all about Heartland America. It is like, Corn Belt USA. And meanwhile, in the U.S., there's this surgence of cowboy culture. And we put two and two together and we said, okay, Fritos equals Heartland America, cowboy culture, properties like Yellowstone leading the way. And we've done things like we partner with Yellowstone. We've designed innovation around Yellowstone. We hired Taylor Sheridan to film a very epic Fritos ad at the Four Sixes Ranch, which is part of the Yellowstone property. And we're showing up in ways that are true to the brand, but are relevant to the consumer today through country music and. So, stay true to the brand, know what the brand is, figure out where the brand is participating in culture authentically, and then you fan the spark and you just get creative around those things and let it go.
Which is more or less what we've done in the partnership that we have delivered campaign for, Doritos, for instance, or Fritos,
yes.
As you mentioned. And so we leverage, for instance, together augmented reality to engage with the Gen Z audience, finding them where they are.
Yeah.
Based on the experience, do you think that augmented reality is effective in engaging more?
Yeah, we've definitely found it to be true. And you've mentioned a couple of the brands where we have integrated those consumer augmented reality experiences into our brand campaign. For those who may not remember, in I think it was 2019, 2020 Super Bowl, we embedded Snap codes into our Cheetos advertising and gave the consumer an opportunity to scan those codes, through multi-screen viewing and Snapchat, and then they were able to redeem those codes for product and so on and so forth. And that was a can winner at the time. So and by the way, a can winner, I think there's a business reality that we expect any award submission that we make as PepsiCo, yes, it has to be creative because that's the filter that Can uses. It also has to move our business forward. So we only submit those things that do move our business forward, and that definitely did. But it's not just Cheetos, Doritos. We've done a lot of work with you guys on brands like Captain Crunch, right? Where Captain Crunch is all about igniting adventure in the morning at breakfast. And our consumer is the eternal child, right? So these are adults who grew up on Captain Crunch, love the taste, love the fun and nostalgia of what Captain Crunch stands for. And we've done a number of programs with Snapchat to bring the brand alive and draw the consumer into the Captain's world and find that sense of adventure. And it moves the needle, definitely. Yeah.
So you also lead me to the next question about the role that creativity plays in reaching your goals, your business objective.
Yeah.
And I come from the point of view of someone that leads creative teams and believes that creativity is problem solving. So I'm curious to hear from you, what do you think creativity can help with when it comes to objectives?
Yeah. So we have gone deep into, like, true to PepsiCo style, we do data and we have creativity both working hand in hand. And so we have a number of cases that are internal as well as external that shows creativity is a force multiplier on ROI, right? So you can have a really, mid-tier campaign, have a nice ROI if you invest in creative expression behind that same campaign, but do it a little bit differently. Bring borrowed equity through a spokesperson, do things to really arrest and capture attention of your consumer. You can drive ROI increases in the 4x range. So we really believe in creativity in our organization and invest behind it quite heavily. There are several examples where we that we've brought into Can this year that show that, whether it's the Doritos technology where we silence the sound of the crunch of the chip for gamers, which apparently is a very big problem for gamers. They don't want to stop gaming to eat. And, because they're often interactive, live streaming their gaming, this sound technology can silence the sound of your Doritos chip. So that's getting a lot of attention. And I would say that's a highly creative creative approach to solving a consumer problem. The work that I mentioned before with Fritos, where we've hired Taylor Sheridan to do an epic kind of commercial around Fritos, we went into that. We didn't test it. We just used our guts and our judgment around kind of the creativity, and it's one of the highest scoring ads we've ever done.
Great work. And please, we have like a few minutes left. I wanted to ask you in the context of, women's breakfast. What would be your advice for the young female marketeer starting her career and is eager to hear from those who have already,
Oh, I've got so much advice. So come talk to me afterwards if you want. But one of the first pieces of advice, and I learned this. I wrote my advice down because I wanted to make sure that I got it all out to you. But one of them is, if you're just starting out, don't go after the promotion, go after the experience. Like you are going to have a lot of time and at-bats in your career. And I've seen people make this mistake where they either get promoted too fast and don't have the experience they need to be effective in their role, or they go for the title on a type of role that isn't a good fit for where their skill truly lies. And then you get miserable and you're like, you want out, or you don't do as well at the role as you would otherwise. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. Slow down, get the experience that is going to build you into a stronger marketer. And I did that. I went into private equity. I took a step out of kind of corporate America. I took commercial roles. And again, all of those experiences have really strengthened me as a marketer. I would say the other couple of things are, if there's something that you want, ask for it. Do not wait for opportunities to come your way. Go after them. And don't let your inner voice talk you out of asking for what you want. Because guess what? Best case, you get it. Worst case, you don't, but you're stronger for it because you know, one, you've signaled what your worth is to your organization, and two, you know where you stand, and knowledge is power. And if you know where you stand and you still want to go after whatever it is, then you can collect the skills, you can do the things that strengthen your candidacy the next time around. So ask, go after it. There's no downside risk to that. One more thing. Sorry, you asked the wrong question. I could just go on forever. Don't be afraid to make the tough calls, right? So there are going to be times in your career where work comes across your desk, whether it's your own or your team's, and it's going to be good enough, but it's not going to be great. Nobody wants to do work that's okay or good enough. Everybody wants to be on a team that does great, groundbreaking work. And if you see something, you're going to have an inner debate and you're going to say, oh, I'm going to disappoint the team. It's going to mess up my timeline. There's going to be all sorts of issues if I say no to the work. Say no to the work. Trust your gut, say no, because you will be thanked later for investing the extra time, taking a pause, getting the work to the point where it's truly great and going to do what it needs to do in the market. And you live a little bit of pain for the gain. Say no. If your instinct tells you, say no, get it to a place where it's going to be excellent.
On that note, I thank you, Kristin.
Thank you so much.
I wish I'd received that advice at the beginning of my career, so hopefully we will help you all. And it's been a pleasure being with you. Enjoy lunch, enjoy the rain, enjoy the rosé. Thanks.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you
guys so much.